Good Friday evening to you. Hope your weekend is off to a good start. Welcome to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. The Browns are in Denver already, getting ready to face the Broncos, trying to get there a little earlier than normal to get used to the high altitude. At 2-6, the Browns, they're in desperate need of a win to get things rolling. They will face a 27-year-old quarterback in Brandon Allen who will take his first NFL snap in the game against the Browns. They also will face a Broncos team that has a really good running attack. It can be really good, led by Phillip Lindsay. But right now, with all the penalties and turnovers, the Browns are more focused on doing what they need to do than who they're facing in order to get this thing turned around.
This week it's about us. It's about doing everything we can to go find a way to win in Denver.
Can you at least draw those from that experience? Going to Denver, playing in that altitude isn't easy to do, or anything like that going into this game?
I haven't really thought too much about it. Our guys are in shape right now, so I expect, and it's weather should be good from what I've seen, so expecting good conditions.
You talked about accountability, and Freddie's talked about it a bunch. Is there anything in your role as a captain that you can do to help other guys get to the level they need to be in?
I continue to be more vocal and harp on little details within every day of practice to where, I talked about it after the game about translating it to Sundays, but to where when it comes time on Sunday, they're not even thinking about it. It's second nature. They carry it over, and it's not even a question.
They have a really good defense. Can you talk about
obviously playing great on defense right now. Flacco being out, they're going to rely on that defense even more. They held Indianapolis to a few amount of points, so they're playing well as a unit. Obviously, you got Von Miller on that side, and Wolf was playing great. You got some of the other guys on the line that, because of those two guys, are getting one-on-ones and they're taking advantage of their opportunity. And then you got a secondary that's making some plays. And in the games they play well, their secondary plays well. And so I think it starts up front and their guys play free after that.
Baker, what positive aspects of last week on the offensive side of football can you help transfer to this week?
The fact that we never quit, I think we can point out exactly where things went wrong. Those are all fixable things for us as an offense and as a team. So I think we can get those fixed.
So you wished that in that game that he wished you guys might have challenged, try to force the issue, and get him to hold the ball. Your thoughts on just that?
I think early on, we can say that, and yeah, we would have liked to. There's no doubt about that. But how things went early on in the game, with the fumbles and the turnovers early, just trying to establish and get back on track. So anytime stuff like that happens, you can't exactly get to how you wanted to attack. You have to get back on track and do the little things right. I felt like later on we did get him the ball, and he knows that. It's just the frustrating part about we shot ourselves in the foot, so we weren't able to exactly go out there and attack right away.
You want to win, you want to be part of the solution, and you never want to be the problem. So I think we're all just trying to find the solution right now. We're just trying to find ways to put together games, less mistakes, less penalties called on us, and find a way to put together better games and come out with wins.
How are the coaches supposed to kind of like balance not forcing the ball to you with getting it to you when they should?
I don't know. That's why they're the coach and I'm the player. I don't know how to really answer that. It's tough. I think at the end of the day, they just do what's best for the team. They do what whatever the game plan is, and they go about it that way. Once you get caught up in trying to make someone happy or anything like that, I think it would weaken the game plan, if anything. So you just kind of got to go about it, whatever they feel like is the best approach for that game.
Do you think they are doing that?
Huh?
Do you think they are doing that to the best of their ability?
Doing what?
Operating the game plan to get to who's ever open, or look at these.
I'm sure that's the goal. I'm sure they don't sit up there like we're not going to throw them the ball. I don't really know how to answer that. I'm sure they're their goal is to put together the best game plan, get the ball into the hands of the people to help make plays for the team, and win the game.
What is your feeling, though, that it's so hard to find a solution given the fact you got two receivers like you guys and a running back like Nick Chubb and a highly regarded quarterback?
I think it comes down to the little stuff. You know, they say it's a game of inches, so every 5-yard penalty when it 2nd and 2, and now it's a 2nd and 7. Now we're in the 3rd and 3, and we don't get a 3rd down when we already would have had the first down, without the 5 yards. So it's just eliminating, not like we beat ourselves all year, but like we've helped teams beat us. We haven't done a good job at eliminating and playing mistake-free, and I know we've talked about that, accountability, discipline, all these things. It just comes down to being mistake-free.
Todd Monken comes into our room once a week, and today was a day, and he seemed encouraged by some of the things that happened on offense in New England. He said he thought that Mayfield played well. But, that's just kind of the background of the question to you. Did the offense make some strides in that game?
Definitely. I definitely think we made strides. I think there's still areas we could, if we were to look back on it or play them again down the road, I think we would have an even better game plan. This is a historical defense that we went against. They're playing at a phenomenal level. So there was definitely takeaways from that game that were positive. I think Baker played well. We just penalties, turnovers. It's tough to beat a team like that. Any team in the NFL with penalties and turnovers.
I think overall just schematics of the offense that Denver likes to run. Like you said, we don't have a lot of film on him. Some of the film we were showing this morning about his arm and accuracy was from other teams. So I think just the main thing is that they're going to try to do what they do best and do it a lot, especially with a guy that's new to the scheme or playing for the first time with that team.
When they run the ball pretty well, what do you see that makes their running backs succeed?
They got a good offensive line. Their backs, Lindsey is a smaller guy, but he runs with a lot of power and explosiveness, and if he gets out in the open field, he's hard to catch and bring down. So they do a good job. They got a bunch of different schemes. They use their fullbacks and tight ends very well. They got a good fullback, lead blocker. So when they're able to get a good run scheme, you don't fit it properly, they can make you pay because the backs have some explosion and are good in the open field.
Kind of run the San Francisco offense. Is that what you see there?
It's similar, yeah. Not quite the same, but definitely their coach came from there, so they're obviously going to do things. And if they do take some stuff from the San Francisco game, we got to really be prepared for it.
Did they use that Iowa tight end like George Hill?
Not quite. He does get a couple screens. He does get a few shots down the field, but in San Francisco, I feel like they really force the ball to Kittle. Or not force, but they try to get the ball to Kittle all the time because he's a playmaker in space.
Mobile quarterback, he can throw the ball. So, he's an NFL quarterback. He can run an offense, so we treat him the same.
You expect them, with an inexperienced quarterback to run the ball more than they might normally with Flacco in there?
They'll try to, but if he start throwing the ball and he start hitting home, they're going to continue to throwing the ball. So whether he's inexperienced or not, if he can throw the ball, he can throw the ball.
Did you guys take any positive strides in New England in terms of things that you needed to improve on? The review of the New England game showed that you did improve in certain areas. So what did you take out of that New England game?
Did better in the run. Got to Brady a little bit. Screen hit us a lot. Other than that, honestly, did all right, but not good enough to win.
So, take just as an example of playing that game. I know you dove and almost kept your feet. I think you dove. I forget what's the Brady.
The running back. Fourth and one play.
Anyway, what run through that play? It was kind of a big moment in the game where if you could have got him, it would have been a nice momentum change.
Yeah, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but I didn't. It's just that simple. I made a move. I got tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Fought through the trip. Tried to make a play. He kept going. So kept his feet.
Good dive.
Not good enough.
Sheldon, there's always a sense of urgency with you guys. You look at 16 games in the season, but do you feel that heightened this week, just in general?
Yeah, we got to turn the ship around. Definitely. And I know Denver's on the same page as we are, but we got to turn it around.
And the Browns will try to get that turned around in Denver, 4:25 kickoff Sunday. They are already in Denver trying to get used to that high altitude of Mile High Stadium. Well, I want to give you the stat of the month for The Ohio Lottery, did you know there are over 238,000 winners on Ohio scratch-offs each and every day? With that amount of winning, stop by your local retailer and try your luck on any of the popular holiday-themed scratch-offs, the Ohio Lottery. We're going to step aside, take a quick time out. When we return, we'll hear from the Denver Broncos as they get ready to face the Browns Sunday, 4:25 in Denver. More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. We'll be right back.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a four-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students kindergarten through 12th grade can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine. Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. Browns are in Denver getting ready to play the Broncos, and the Broncos have now lost two in a row. They come into this game 2-6 on the season. They lost a tough one in Indianapolis last week, a field goal with 20 seconds left, a 51-yard field goal by Adam Vinatieri of the Indianapolis Colts was the difference. Joe Flacco now injured, so Brandon Allen gets his first NFL snap in the start against the Browns. Means that Phillip Lindsay and Royce Freeman figure to be a big part of the Broncos' game plan. The two running backs, they'll want to run the ball effectively. Denver's defense realizes that Baker Mayfield and the Browns' offense isn't quite clicking just yet.
Baker, man, he's right now he's struggling a little bit. He really is, just being honest. But he can make all the throws. He's talented. I've been watching him since he's at OU. I mean, I'm from Oklahoma, so I've always watched him, and he has great touch with this ball. Right now, I think they're just trying to get new. Same thing how we went, man. Early in the season on defensive side, they got a new coordinator. Oh, I guess he had him last year, but new coach. His first time doing it, a new receiver, so they're just trying to gel.
If you have your preference, do you want to go on Landry, you want Beckham, or how does that shake out?
I want Beckham. What you mean? Yeah. He's the best receiver on their team. So, I mean, Landry he has a lot of catches. He's been great in this league. No disrespect to him. I've had great battles with him too, but I mean, their offense, he's their big play guy.
And you've never played against Beckham, have you?
Just a little bit in the Pro Bowl, but I mean, that's nothing.
Nick Chubb's been having some fumbling issues. Is there anything you guys talk about behind the scenes, like, hey, you can get this away from him?
I mean, we try to get the ball. That's the main thing. Coach Fangio and them focus every day. I mean, we got footballs everywhere, all through the locker room. You can just touch. I mean, that's all he's preaching on is getting the ball. So we got to figure out a way to get turnovers. When we get turnovers, our offense plays better. Team just plays better. So if we can force 2 or 3 turnovers, that's going to be huge for our team, especially to help us win.
Have you really liked taking on the role of kind of showing Devontae Harris the ropes and really having acclimated there?
Yeah, that's like my kid, man. I have him. He sits right, make him sit right by me. He asks 1,000 questions, and that's what you want from. That's how I was when I was a kid, like him, coming into the league with Champ. Ask a whole bunch of questions, and that's I mean, I told him to keep asking the questions until he annoys me. So that's what he's doing, man. He's right there in my hip, trying to learn everything as possible, trying to get better. And I think he has gotten better. I think he's improved from each game. And there's something that, as a corner, one week you want to fix. So last week, Tyreek Hill ran an under route on me. And so I said this week I got T-Rod Hill, and he ran an under route. I got to eliminate that. So that's what I tried to do. That's what I try to tell him is you don't want your mistakes to creep in week to week.
I still see a very talented gamer-type quarterback that has good command of their offense. They run the RPOs a good bit, which he has plenty of experience in. He's elusive within the pocket, can make plays on the run. Hard guy to get down. I see a good quarterback. You know, it's just it doesn't take much in the NFL to get off kilter, and but I see a lot of good stuff from him too.
From a roster standpoint, do they have a little more talented offenses in the league?
Yeah, I think that, you know, with Landry and Beckham and the quarterback Chubb, good tight ends, got some good offensive linemen. Yeah, they've got good talent.
Obviously, you've said you don't have a sense of urgency to see Drew Lock on the field, but how anxious are you to see what he can do eventually?
I'm anxious, but I for it to happen at the right time.
So I'm excited to see what he has to offer. I think he's going to move around a lot, and I think he's going to take shots and stuff. I mean, nothing changes. We got to find a way to win the game. You know, for us, we're going to have to run the ball. We're going to have to find ways to make first downs and make explosive plays, and that's just it.
Brandon said yesterday when asked about what he can bring, he said he's got that, he can break free, he can move and stuff.
Yeah.
How much will that benefit the offense, someone who can kind of move around?
Yeah. I mean, you see it now in the NFL. You know, a lot of these plays are made of broken plays, and the quarterback maneuvering around and wasting time so people can get open. So, you know, we'll see what Brendan has offering that, you know, that aspect of it. But we just got to help him out. We got to hold up. You know, they have a tough defensive line, and we got to find ways to make plays. This been it is our defense has been playing a hell of a job, and we got to find ways to help them out and score points. You know.
You've been in a situation where
Yeah.
suddenly you go from sort of the under the radar guy to here's your first NFL. What is your advice to other players to live in the moment?
Yeah, I mean, you don't take anything for granted. Definitely don't take anything for granted. And like you said, live in the moment. Like it's about now. It's about right now. It's what we can do now. It's about this league is about what can you do for me lately? You know, what have you done for me lately? You know, not the past. So for us, we got to find ways to make plays. And I think Brandon knows that, and he has a good grasp of this offense. And we got to rally around him and build off of him. But like the key to it, and you guys know that, is we're going to have to run the ball.
When we left you Sunday, there was a lot of frustration and anger from Joe about not being more aggressive. You felt like you should be more aggressive. Can you still assert that opinion this week with Scangarello? And is it different because you got a new quarterback? Are you guys asserting yourself, saying, hey, we can't play scared?
Yeah, nothing changes for us. The offense is going to stay the same. We're going to try to be aggressive, and we're going to do what we have to do to win the game. You know, and Coach Vic has made that clear to us. You know, when we knew Joe wasn't going to play, he made an announcement that Brandon would be our starting quarterback, and nothing does change. And you got to go with it. You know, for Brandon, this is an exciting moment for him. You know, this be his first NFL snap. And, you know, his starting quarterback, and I think he's going to handle it well, and we're going to rally around him.
Broncos getting ready for the Browns, 4:25 on Sunday in Denver, and Brandon Allen, 27-year-old quarterback, will take his first NFL snap. You can be sure the Browns defense will be ready to get after the new quarterback. Want to tell you about Northeast Factory Direct. There are no gimmicks, no deceiving blowout sales, no typical retail nonsense. Just 3 huge bare-bones warehouses filled with some of the same stuff found at a number of stores. One big difference. At Northeast Factory Direct, these items are priced about half of regular retail. Bottom line, nobody is going to touch their everyday savings or quality. If you want nice big-ticket items to improve your home and want to pay about half of what most people pay, then go to Northeast Factory Direct. 3 locations, West 140th in Cleveland, in the old B&B Appliance on Lakeland Boulevard in Euclid, and Freeway Drive in Macedonia. You can check out everything on northeastfactorydirect.com. Time for us to step aside, take a quick time out. When we return, cleveland.com columnist Doug Lemerises joins us. We will talk Browns and Buckeyes with Doug Lemerises. More Sports Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. We'll be right back.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
There was moisture in the basement. It ruined the carpeting. The smell was terrible. We didn't feel safe in our own basement, and that's when we called Nature Stone.
And with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your basement flooring again. Get Nature Stone installed by the end of October and save up to half off. Schedule your free cost estimate easily online today at naturestone.com. It's not just a floor. Wow, it's Nature Stone.
Oh, gosh. Playing Ohio Lottery Pick 3, I see. What are you going to do? A box bed, a split pairs, or a wheel? Well, old Picky Ricky here is a straight shooter.
Okay.
It razzes my berries when newbies think betting's hard. Straight bets are easy peasy. Just match 3 numbers in order and win the old-fashioned way. This, on the other hand, is not so simple. Oh, God. Oh, jeez Louise. Play the Ohio Lottery Pick 3 today.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. We've heard from the Broncos. We've heard from the Browns. Time to welcome in cleveland.com columnist Doug Lemerises and hear from him. Doug, as always, we appreciate the time. You looked at that Patriots game, and there were some good things, but there were a lot of bad things. What are your thoughts just as the Browns go out to Denver to play a team they should beat?
Yeah, I think they're going to go win. The thing that's hard about the Patriots game is their best offensive lineman, Joel Bitonio, kicked the ball out of Nick Chubb's hands, missed the block that led to that weird interception, and had a holding penalty on a screen that really hurt him. He's still really good. Those were 3 bad plays for him. Nick Chubb, who's the best player on this offense through 7 games, had 2 killer fumbles. So those are good players who did things that really hurt them. And if Nick Chubb hadn't fumbled at all, they would have been ahead 7-3 early instead of losing 10-0. And then the Bitonio missed block leads to another turnover that leads to points. So, you just have to hope, good players sometimes make mistakes. I don't know that that's coaching. I don't know that that's a lack of focus. I think stuff just happens sometimes. And then you had some other things that happened with some guys who were more fringy guys, had some penalties you can't accept. And I think maybe you put some of those guys on the bench this week. But, there's a lot that people have angst about with that Patriots game. And honestly, if Nick Chubb holds on to the ball, it's a different game. And everybody agrees that Nick Chubb is the hardest working, most earnest guy, best teammate, great person, maybe a top 5 running back in this league. And he put the ball on the ground and he killed him. So it's like, what do you do going forward? It's like, well, let's not have that guy who's really awesome do 2 horrible things, and we'll like our chances.
Another thing that has to be somewhat disturbing, turnovers and penalties seem to be a recurring theme, and those are 2 things that good teams don't do, and teams that do those things, they're usually bad teams that don't win.
Let me cue up my excuse list here. I'm going to keep giving them. I'm going to keep giving excuses. Yes, they had turnovers. When they had turnovers early, it felt like Baker Mayfield was inaccurate or not on the same page with his receivers. That wasn't the case. in New England. He didn't have that. He had the one throw where they crossed Jarvis and Odell, and he hit Stephen Gilmore in the chest, and he got lucky that wasn't picked. But, Denzel Ward had a ball in his hands in the end zone that he dropped on a diving play that Tom Brady made a terrible throw. And if he catches that, that's a red zone interception for Tom Brady. So anyway, ifs and buts and candy and nuts. The penalties that killed him against Tennessee were stupid, right? Were these after the play kind of aggression penalties, trying to be tough guys for no reason. Those are gone. They don't commit those anymore. They have the pre-snap stuff. Pharaoh Brown, who's like in an ideal world, like their fourth best tight end, flinched twice. So what do? I don't know. Maybe Pharaoh Brown doesn't play as much this week. Again, some of these mistakes are great players that you figure they're not going to keep making those. And some of the penalties are guys that you can put them on the bench because they're making these mistakes. But I don't think, but to say turnovers are still a problem. Certainly the New England turnovers were not the turnovers we saw early where receivers were dropping balls and Baker was not maybe putting the ball where he wanted it. So you're right. Yes, penalties and turnovers. But I think this version of penalties and turnovers that we saw at New England can get fixed more quickly.
When you look at who the Browns will be facing, a quarterback that's 27 years old in Brandon Allen, who, when he takes a snap on Sunday, will be taking his first NFL snap. What do you expect this defense to try to do? What do you want to see from this defense if the Browns are going to be successful against that guy?
Tee off on him. Again, we've talked about this, I think, several times. Wouldn't it be nice for this defensive line to go in and dominate a game? I think they made some good plays against Tom Brady. But wouldn't it be nice to say, there was a game. We've seen what Nick Bosa is doing in San Francisco. Nick Bosa is on the highlight reel every day. It feels like Nick Bosa practically by himself is winning games for the San Francisco 49ers. Jimmy Garoppolo is not playing like an MVP. They're undefeated because of their defense. They have DeForest Buckner and a bunch of other guys on that defensive line. Wouldn't it be nice for everyone on Monday morning to be talking about how, Denver never had a chance. Myles Garrett won that game by himself. This is the guy to do that against. Now you can also have times where you drop 8 and try to confuse him and make him make a throw. But if you can get 3 and 4 man pressure, you still can drop. You don't have to blitz a lot. I'm not saying they've played bad, and they haven't. Myles Garrett's played really well, but I would like to see across the board. Olivier Vernon's been playing, I think has played his 2 best games the last 2 weeks. So I think they're on the way. This would be a great day for the line to absolutely dominate against a quarterback who's never done it.
The other thing that the Broncos have is a running game that has to concern you. Lindsey and Freeman, 2 guys that are good. They also have a talented young tight end who can get down the field in Noah Fant. That's always been a problem for the Browns. Are those things concerns, or are they mitigated by the fact that you've got, Brandon Allen playing quarterback?
No, I think those are concerns because I think some of those easy throws, right, hit some screens, some little tight end throws over the middle. Those are the things that have bothered the Browns at times, and those are the kind of throws that Brandon Allen's going to have to make on 3rd down. And they are not getting off the field. Again, when they do get off the field and force a punt, then all of a sudden it's not a critical drive and we don't remember it. We remember the times the Browns didn't get off the field on 3rd down. That screen against the Patriots killed them. That wasn't a hard throw. That was not a Hall of Fame throw by Tom Brady. It was the way it was set up and blocked and executed. So you don't want the Broncos doing that. That's an easy throw for Brandon Allen. So I do think some of those, I don't think Brandon Allen's going to hit. They just traded one of their best receivers. He's not going to hit guys down the field against this healthy secondary and against this pass rush. But if these linebackers and the safeties can't contain guys underneath, tight ends and running backs, as you mentioned, that I think is the only way Denver's going to move the ball. And the Browns at times have been susceptible to that.
We talked a little bit about Nick Chubb and those 2 fumbles really hurt what would have been an outstanding day running the football. Do you want to see more of that running the football in this game? Because that's the way you set up downfield passing and buy Baker Mayfield some time so he can find Landry and Beckham.
Yeah, I mean, I think everybody sees that. And Freddie they ran the ball well. Like they had a game plan, and I know they came out and threw it a couple times. You also have to if the defense is blitzing as much as New England was early, you can't just run straight into the heart of a blitz and when there's no holes. So you have to adjust. But I think, Nick Chubb on a consistent basis, if you're just trying to get 5-yard chunks and move the ball down the field, I think he's as good as that as almost any running back in the league. So, yeah, you'd like to lean on that, and then you'd like to lean on that setting up some of your playmakers. But again, that was there. The Browns averaged a half yard more per play than the Patriots last week, 5.3 to 4.8. It's just the turnovers killed them. But they did move the ball consistently, and Chubb does have that ability to pop one, right? That long run with the second fumble, man, that's just, you block it up nice up there, and all of a sudden he makes a cut, makes a linebacker miss, and he's gone. Yes, lean on that. But also I think they've done a good job of that. It's just sometimes we forget it because he fumbled.
When you look at this game, what are one or two things that you think will be keys for the Browns to come away with a much-needed win? They need this one. They need a bunch of them in a row, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, I just don't we all want to see Odell Beckham feel like more of a consistent part of the offense that even, you look at the numbers and it's like, I think he had 7 targets for 5 receptions last week, but there's a lot of those easy things, little bubbles. They're trying to get him the ball, which is good, little RPOs. But, man, it just – you'd like to see a little more when it matters. They had that throw down the field kind of after they were kind of dead that Odell caught. And you'd just like to see a couple of these 25-yard throws over the linebackers in front of the safeties, hit them on the move, let them run, while the game is still in the balance. And I just feel like we haven't had as many of those dynamic opportunities, not just catches for Odell Beckham. It's dynamic opportunities. And I think for whatever reason, and I think it's spread around play calling, Baker's ability to see things, I think it's also on Odell to run sharp routes, make sure he's open, to catch the ball and stay on his feet when he has a chance to be dynamic. It's on all of them. But, man, again, I talked about let's see the defensive line win a game. Let's see Odell Beckham win him a game. Let's have Odell Beckham go to Denver and have 11 catches for 194 yards. That's what guys like that do sometimes. Not every week. But we haven't seen it yet. I think it's time to see a game like that.
Hey, are you still optimistic? And I'll couch this with 5 of the games that the Browns have remaining are against Brandon Allen, hasn't taken a snap. Ryan Finley for 2 against Cincinnati, hadn't taken an NFL snap. And Mason Rudolph for 2 with the Steelers. Before this season, hadn't taken many NFL snaps.
Yeah, let me get my my optimism list over here. I got the experience on one side and the optimism on the other. I think they could be 2-7 and still win their last 7 and get to 9-7 and win the division possibly with that record. That's how optimistic I am. The problem would be the bubbling cauldron of freaking out would probably overflow by the time they got to 2-7. Because you look at things like that, you look at facts. And they're not playing Tom Brady, and they're not playing Jared Goff and Sean McVay, and they're not playing Russell Wilson. And all of a sudden, you can kind of like explain these. You're not playing Kyle Shanahan. You can explain these losses away very easily. And it does bother me. Like, the Niners looked great in a lot of ways moving the ball against the Cardinals last night. The Cardinals stink. The Browns have not played that many teams that just stink. The Jets, maybe, right? The Jets, right? And the penalties against the Titans just wiped that game off the board. That's on the Browns, but you can't even evaluate that. But they're going to play stinky teams with stinky quarterbacks. And I think when they play them, they'll beat some of them. So, yeah, I'm looking at the same thing you are. And I think it's reasonable to look at that and remain optimistic. And all these other teams that everybody's so excited they look great, let's watch them go play the Rams, the Seahawks, the Patriots, the Ravens, and see how they do too. So, I don't know. I say the same stuff every week. I'm the excuse-making optimistic guy, but I'll stay that way all the way till 2-12, and I'll be telling you how they still can turn around.
Then we can be optimistic about next year's NFL draft. Yeah. Doug Lemerises, appreciate it. We're going to take a quick time out, and we will talk some Buckeyes with Doug on the other side of this break. But right now, I want to tell you about Cuyahoga Community College. Explore your interests, find a program that puts you on a path to a bright future. Tri-C offers more than 1,000 courses and over 140 career and technical programs. Go to try-c.edu to find out more. Try-c.edu to find out more. You also see the phone number down there. Time for us to step aside and take a quick time out. When we return, Doug Lemerises, cleveland.com columnist, joins us to talk some Buckeyes and Ryan Day. Heisman Trophy as well. More Sports Les Levine. The Weekend Winners Edition will be right back.
As a kid growing up, my dream was to go to college, play baseball, and get a degree. Coming out of high school, I had two choices. I was accepted into a 4-year university, but I decided to come to Tri-C after receiving a scholarship. I got my associate's degree at Tri-C. They transferred all my credits straight into Baldwin-Wallace, so I started at Baldwin-Wallace University as a junior. My name is Tyler Leonard, and I earned my first degree at Tri-C.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program recognizes role model students and teachers from across Ohio. Nominations can now be done completely online. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Partners in Education. There you will find links to the nomination forms. Students, kindergarten through 12th grade, can be academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as a Teacher of the Month. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. Time to shift gears a little bit. We'll go from the Browns to the Buckeyes. Buckeyes with a week off looked impressive as usual against Wisconsin. Time to welcome back in cleveland.com columnist Doug Lemerises. Doug, you've seen the Buckeyes and have covered them for a number of years. What are your impressions of Ryan Day, first-year full-time head coach for the Buckeyes? I've been really impressed.
He's like a regular dude, right? Which is refreshing to cover. But I think he does have a very good sense of himself for a guy who has never been a head coach before. He had never been a head coach on any level until the 3 games last year. Now, of course, taking over full-time this year. So he was fortunate to step into a structure left him by Urban Meyer, but he also has done things in his own way. He talks about tough love a lot. And I think he's shown the players that and got them to feel that with this program. There's some inherent things here that this team is pretty ticked off that it blew its chance at the playoff the last 2 years with one bad week against a mediocre opponent. And so they would be motivated to avoid that, I think, no matter who the head coach was. But he has done a really good job sort of keeping the ship on track, because it was on track in a lot of ways, but also I think bringing enough of his personality, showing these guys tough love, maybe getting them to relax a little bit, that has allowed them to play not just undefeated football, but play at a level that makes them look like the best team in the country.
Do you think those 3 games helped him quite a bit? Because you mentioned, much like we're dealing with Freddie Kitchens, had never been a head coach at any level, and it seems like it's been very seamless, for lack of a better term.
I think it's a good point, and it's funny how things work out. I actually think more than the 3 games was the fact that for that month of preseason camp in August, while Urban was out, while they were investigating things, you've got to get up and be the guy in front of the team. Now, Mickey Marotti, the strength coach, had a big role in keeping the things on track last preseason. But when you're the offensive coordinator, the offense knows you. The defense doesn't know you. They don't really know you at all. They have no interaction with you. So Ryan Day, in that month, every day, the grind of camp, Ryan Day is front and center. Ryan Day is leading this team. Urban, I can't remember the exact specifics, but some of those games, once the 3 games suspension started for the season, he was there during the week. He couldn't just coach on Saturday, that kind of thing. And it's not the coaching on Saturday. I think Ryan Day is smart and he can handle that kind of stuff. But he got a chance to be in front of the team as a leader, not just for 3 weeks, but for that month ahead. And I think that was a big step because of all the things that he hadn't done before. That was the big thing. Be the guy in front of the team, not just quarterbacks, not just offense, but the whole team. And I think that helped a lot.
The other thing that's been impressive from my view is you're still getting the national recruits. Marvin Harrison's son committed to Ohio State recently. Are you surprised that the recruiting base still appears to be the national recruiting base because, it was a national recruiting base basically because of Urban Meyer, and it looks like it's going to stay pretty much a national recruiting base.
Yeah, I mean, that is a little surprising to me. And I think that's as much of a credit to him as anything else he's done. We knew he could draw up plays, right? That's important, but we knew he could draw up plays. But to keep that going, Urban was such a national name. Now, the places where they are recruiting at a national level the best is at quarterback and receiver, and that's no coincidence. Justin Fields is here because he wants to play in Ryan Day's offense. They have 4 receivers ranked among the top 100 players in the entire country in the 2020 class because those receivers want to play in this offense. Marvin Harrison, who committed yesterday, is their second receiver among the top 100 guys in the country for 2021 because receivers want to play here. They're having a little trouble getting a running back. Offensive line, they've gotten some guys in Ohio who aren't quite as highly ranked. They've gotten a couple good guys in the secondary. In national recruiting, that's Jeff Hafley with his NFL pedigree, getting out and selling that. Larry Johnson on the defensive line, recruiting defensive linemen from all over the country. He's as good of a defensive line coach as there is in America. And when he gets in your living room and sells you, you listen to Larry Johnson. So there are things that are in place. Mark Pantoni, who runs the recruiting operation, is as organized and efficient and smart about recruiting as anybody in the country. Again, there were structures in place, but I think some of us thought that a lot of that recruiting was Urban Meyer closes. You walk in, it's Urban Meyer. He's got the championship rings out. He's got the persona. Boom, he locks it down. What happens when you take that guy out of the equation? Well, what happens is you recruit at basically the same level. So that, of course, is a credit to Ryan Day.
Let's shift gears a little bit. We'll talk a little bit about the Heisman Trophy and really Ohio State with multiple guys that will be in consideration, which may hurt all of the Buckeyes that are in consideration for the Heisman.
Yeah, J.K. Dobbins is probably the best running back candidate for the Heisman at the moment now that they dispatched Jonathan Taylor from Wisconsin, who was never a real candidate in my mind. Justin Fields is in the mix. With all these quarterbacks, Trevor Lawrence, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, we know who we're talking about, Tua Tagovailoa dealing with an injury. And then Chase Young is the defensive wild card. We haven't had a pure defensive player win it. Charles Woodson's the only mostly defensive guy who's won it. But I do think there's a path for Chase Young, and I think the path includes being the best player on the best team. And Ohio State's not going to mount a campaign. Ohio State doesn't have to mount a campaign, okay? Because, people know the deal. Ohio State's good. They're on TV all the time. But I do think Heisman voters have to open their minds to it. 870 media members, another 60 or so former Heisman winners. That's what I wrote after the game, is these Heisman voters, some of whom do not follow college football on an everyday basis, some of whom are stuck in their ways, like most voters with most things, have to open their minds to this. And there has been a lot of coverage this week of a lot of respected college football media people saying that they would vote for Chase Young. And so this is, I think, the one award where media coverage actually matters, because it's media coverage affecting media members. And we are malleable ding dong. We'll listen to whatever highlight is on TV or whatever the last story is that we read. So when well-respected, very smart college football writers like me say that Chase Young should be considered for the Heisman, I think it matters. But like Joel Klatt on Fox is saying it, Kirk Herbstreit on ESPN is saying it, Bruce Feldman, the national college football writer, is saying it. That matters. I think if the quarterback situation gets messy and there's not an obvious guy to vote for between Lawrence and Burrow and Hurts and Tua if he gets healthy, and Justin Fields, and if you're not sure there, and if Ohio State is number one, and you say to yourself, who's the best player on the best team? And the answer is Chase Young. I think that window for a defensive player to win is more wide open than it's ever been.
Doug Lemerises, as always, we appreciate the insight, talking Buckeyes and Browns, and we will check in with Doug Lemerises again. He will be Les's guest on Monday, so we look forward to seeing you here in studio. Doug Lemerises. We're going to step aside, take a quick timeout. So when we return, the D-Man joins us, Dennis Manoloff, with some picks against the spread. The D-Man and I going head-to-head with our picks against the spread. D-Man with the early lead, but I will catch him. More sports and Les Levine. The Weekend Winners Edition. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
No other company or product can match the features, benefits, and warranty of an authentic Nature Stone floor.
I had an epoxy-based sand paint on my floor that deteriorated, and that's why I called Nature Stone.
Why paint? It's expensive, it's ugly, and it doesn't last. Nature's Stone is always affordable. It's beautiful, and with Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty, you will never have to replace your garage floor again. Get Nature's Stone installed by the end of October and save up to half off. It's not just a floor, wow, it's Nature's Stone.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a line. A long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Presque Isle Downs and Casino now has sports betting. Use one of the 50 state-of-the-art Bet America kiosks to place your bet. Then, watch your favorite games on our new HD televisions or visit our new sportsbook area. Only at Presque Isle Downs and Casino.
Welcome back to More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. I'm Dave Bacon. It's time for entertainment purposes only, our picks. Want to remind you, legalized sports wagering just a little bit over an hour away from downtown Cleveland. Presque Isle Downs and Casinos, right off of I-90. It is in Erie, Pennsylvania, the Bet America Sportsbook. They've got 50 state-of-the-art kiosks located throughout the casino. It's easy. It's touchscreen, and it is real easy. You put your money in, and you make your bets. Well, D-Man, it is now week 2 with you and I going head-to-head. You got the better of me last week, 3-1. You were 3-1. I was 2-2. I'm a game behind you. Let's start off where we always will. The Browns, they are on the road in Mile High, taking on the Denver Broncos, and the Browns are 3-point road favorites against those Broncos.
Listen, if the Cleveland Browns don't win this, let alone cover it, they should turn in their NFL membership cards and not even board the plane to come back here. You have to win the game for so many reasons. Among them, Brandon Allen is starting for the Broncos. He hasn't started an NFL game in his career. I get that the Broncos' defense is better than we thought it would be. I get that they're looking for payback for last year at Mile High. Who cares? The Browns have to win the game, should win the game, and will win the game and cover.
You, again, are taking the Browns, giving the 3 to the Broncos in that game in Mile High Stadium. And I'm going to agree with you as well. I think the Browns have to win it. From what I've seen, I saw the Broncos play last Thursday, and it was awful against the Kansas City Chiefs. And quite frankly, Joe Flacco was awful. So I'm not surprised they're going to Brandon Allen. And, you know, some people thought it might be Drew Lock, but anything had to be better than what Joe Flacco had been giving them. Kansas City blitzed him coming off the bus, and he didn't do much better last week. So Allen will get his shot without question.
This is a game that's made for Steve Wilks, the defensive coordinator of the Browns. He should have plenty dialed up to rattle Allen, although the Broncos will probably feature a steady dose of the run game to protect him and give him a limited package that it doesn't require any daring throws. My feeling is if the Browns protect the ball, they'll win the game going away. As long as they don't give the the Broncos short fields, they'll be fine.
Well, you're teasing us here. The Ravens. So the Ravens and the
Ravens
Patriots.
on my brain.
Ravens they're hosting the Patriots, and the Patriots 3.5-point favorites over the Ravens at home. Who do you like in that one?
Few people outside of New England like Belichick and Brady as much as I do. I thought the Patriots were going to hammer the Browns last week, which happened. But I'm looking at this Patriots team. Admittedly, it's undefeated at this point. I'm saying I don't know that this is a 16-0 team. And if I don't know that it's a 16-0 team, I got to have a loss in there somewhere. And if you're going to lose a game, why not have it be in Baltimore? Ravens have an offensive threat in Lamar Jackson that the Patriots have not seen yet this year, that type of talent who can beat you with the legs and the arm. They have, some additional running pieces. But most importantly, the Ravens under John Harbaugh and even before that under Billick, they're not afraid of Belichick and the Patriots. They don't cower and worship at their altar. So I think that the Ravens can not only cover this, but win it outright.
So you like the Ravens at home getting 3.5 from the Patriots?
Yes.
I'm going to stay on that same game, and I'm going to go with the Patriots. Again, I think Bill Belichick has a history of taking away what an offense does best. And you can say whoever the defensive coordinator is, that's Bill Belichick's defense. He is going to make Lamar Jackson throw to beat the Patriots, and I don't think Lamar Jackson can do that. As long as you don't let Baltimore's run game get going, like the Browns shut it down, you can shut down the Ravens. I see the Patriots doing that as well. I'll give the 3.5, and I think that the Patriots will, in fact, beat the Ravens by more than 3.5. Let's go back. Chicago against Philadelphia. The Eagles at home, 5-point favorites against the Bears, and Menor High quarterback Mitch Trubisky, who has struggled a little bit for Chicago.
Yeah, and unfortunately, Trubisky factored into this pick for me. I didn't want this to be the case. I wanted the Bears' offense under Trubisky to be a machine, but the fact is it's not. It's a really, it almost looks prehistoric at times. It's so bad. And that's one of the reasons why I don't think the Bears are going to do anything when they go into Philadelphia that's going to scare the Eagles. The Eagles were blown out in Dallas 2 weeks ago, but they come back with a very impressive handling of the Buffalo Bills in the hostile environment in Orchard Park. So I think the Eagles are riding the momentum of that victory, and the Bears coming off of their loss to the Chargers at home, the fact that their offense has really gotten bad in a matter of weeks. I think that that combination means that the Eagles are going to win this one convincingly.
And your fourth pick, Titans against the Carolina Panthers. Panthers at home, so Carolina at home, 4-point favorites against the Tennessee Titans. And Carolina, I picked them last week. They took a beat down at the hands of the 49ers. So I'm a little shy from the Panthers beat down of a week ago.
Well, yeah, and that was one of my losses when I went 10-5 last week for the Plain Dealer and Cleveland.com, the full picks. I went with Carolina plus the points. I thought McCaffrey would do a nice job, but the Niners are on a different level. Okay, that's one part of it. But the reason I take Carolina this week is because of the embarrassment motivator. I think that Carolina was embarrassed in San Fran or in Santa Clara, and they will come home in front of their home crowd, and they will use that embarrassment as fuel. And the Titans are beatable. Admittedly, I'm a little uncomfortable sometimes because the Titans always seem to keep games close, but I like Carolina to respond to getting their cans handed to them against San Francisco, and I think they'll come out with an inspired performance over a Titans team that has already had quarterback issues.
Yeah, Tannehill is going to play quarterback, and Cam Newton will not play for the Panthers again. They're still trying to get him ready and recovered. So you like Carolina at home -4 against the Titans. I'm going to go with the Seahawks -6 against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. My thinking behind this, Jameis Winston has just been awful throwing interceptions, turning the ball over, and not being what Tampa Bay needs him to be is a guy that's been in the year. He's been in the league 4 years now. So you haven't seen the development from Jameis Winston that, quite frankly, Bruce Arians needs. And I think that Seahawks offense, Tampa Bay's defense has been awful too. And you've got Russell Wilson in that offense going, and Seattle, not an easy place to play. I'll give the 6 points to Jameis Winston and the Buccaneers and go with the Seahawks. And then one that I like a lot, the Colts, -1 at Pittsburgh. Indianapolis, -1 against the Steelers. Now, the Steelers, they don't know if they're going to have Connor. He has that AC joint injury. You still have Mason Rudolph as your quarterback. There's not a lot that scares me, and Jacoby Brissett has been better than I think most people expected him to be at quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. That's a team that looks a lot like a playoff team going in and facing the Steelers, who struggled a little bit on Monday night against the Dolphins as well.
Dave, I really like your call there. I think the Colts are insulted by that line. I saw it in a pick 'em in some places, -1. The Colts should be minimum 3, 4, 5-point favorites, because even with Brissett, they're a solid to good team. They're a playoff caliber team. The Steelers are running Mason Rudolph out there. The Colts are going to be like, come on now, we should be favored by more than this. And I think Frank Reich will have them ready to play. I agree with you on that one.
So D-Man has he's 3-1, has a 1-game lead on me. I was 2-2 in our first week. We'll keep a running total of this as we go. And again, you can check out cleveland.com, plain dealer. You can see all 15 picks that the D-Man has for NFL Sunday coming up this weekend. We also want to remind you, legalized sports wagering, a little bit over an hour away from downtown Cleveland. Presque Isle, Downs and Casino, Erie, Pennsylvania, right off of I-90. Bet America Sportsbook in that casino, 50 state-of-the-art kiosks, touchscreen betting. It is real easy. And again, it's just over an hour away from downtown Cleveland, right off of I-90. That'll do it for this edition of More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition. Appreciate it, D-Man. I'm coming for you. I'm going to catch you this week. He has a 1-game lead on me in week 2 of our head-to-head against the spread. Want to remind you that Les Levine will be back 6 o'clock Monday. Doug Lemerises will be the guest right here on cleveland.com. Have a great weekend. We'll see you again next week on More Sports and Les Levine, the Weekend Winners Edition.